Welcome to Staffworks Explained. Please consider subscribing to this channel. Also, watch other videos that were made on this channel. In this video, we'll be talking about Thwake Multipurpose Development Project, a project that is being undertaken in Lower Eastern Kenya. We'll look at the progress, the promises, and also the pressure that this development program is going through. Here, we turn to what is arguably one of the Kenya's most ambitious infrastructure undertaking, the Thwake Multipurpose Water Development Program, which is a project intended to rewrite the economic story of the Lower Eastern region in Kenya. From its promise of water for 1.3 million people, 40,000 hectares of irrigation, 20 megawatts of hydropower, and a stabilized Athi River system, Thwake has long been framed as one of the in a generation development investment. But as the dam approaches the final stages, which is the first phase, questions persist. Is the project on course? What explains its progress? What are the risks ahead? And what will it take to ultimately deliver the benefits which are being promised? Let's look at the current completion rate, where we see that the project phase 1 is near maturity but not yet over the line. According to the project engineers and government briefings, phase 1, which is the construction of the main 87-meter dam wall, associated saddle dams, diversion tunnels, spillways, and core infrastructure, is above 80%, with embankment filling essentially complete. Surface concreting of the upstream phase and final stabilization works are ongoing. More recent engineering updates, including site verification and main inspection, confirm the embankment has been fully raised, with concreting and hydromechanical preparations being the last major task before impounding. This places the project in what engineers call the high-risk, high-precision phase of dam construction, where finishing works are relatively small in volume but critical for safety. What is driving the progress? First, let's look at the technical milestones which have been achieved. The project has completed some of the most challenging engineering volumes. There is twin diversion tunnels, which each 700 meters long and 12 meters in diameter. These are done. These are milestones that allowed Athi River to be safely diverted for foundation works. There is also deep foundation excavation, including rock and alluvium removal, and this has been fully executed. Upstream and downstream coffer dams have served their purpose, enabling controlled construction condition. These achievements, usually the most unpredictable stages, have reduced technical uncertainty. There's also the second progress, which is expanded financing from African Development Bank. African Development Bank has consistently signaled confidence in the project. During an inspection, the bank officials praised the significant progress and indicated readiness to unlock additional funding where required, helping stabilize cash flow when the government allocation fluctuated. There is resolution of land and settlement issues. This is another factor that is fueling the current progress. Nearly 1,783 out of 1,792 project affected persons have been compensated, representing over 99% completion of resettlement. This, if is true as reported, has removed one of the early bottlenecks that had stalled the works for years. There is also a clear national development mandate. The dam is central to Vision 2030 and the National Water Security Agenda. The political prioritization has helped maintain attention and administrative support. But the project has not been without challenges. One, there is funding instability and contractor cash flow problems. There is confirmation that the government financial contribution has reduced over time, and African Development Bank had to step in with greater proportion financing. This promoted cash flow dips that slowed work at key elements. The challenges have worsened. The High Court ruling ordered the contractor, CGGC, the main contractor, to pay Kenya shillings 682.7 million to a subcontractor over contract dispute. This led to a period of constrained liquidity, reduced workforce, machinery lying idle as the company awaited clarification. Such episodes have introduced risk to the project continuity. There's also environmental and water quality concerns. One of the most contentious issues arose from 2021 Auditor General report, warning that water flowing into the dam, especially from Nairobi and Athi Rivers, was heavily polluted and unsuitable for human consumption without significant treatment interventions. In response, a multi-agency cleanup programs began, telemetry water quality monitoring system were introduced, and enforcement of upstream effluent regulations was tightened. But the risk remains long-term. If the Nairobi River rehabilitation system falters, water treatment costs at Thwake will escalate sharply. Project delays. The original completion target was June 2022. This is 3 years late. This has been revised multiple times, largely due to settlement delays, financial interruptions, litigation issues, and also complexity of tunneling and spillway engineering. The latest engineering projections place phase 1 completion on earlier than 2024-2025, depending on the pace of finishing works and quality assurance. Why the dam is being built and why is it still critical? Despite challenges, the rationale for Thwake remains strong and well documented. There is water supply, daily provision of 150,000 cubic meters of treated water to water towns Kitui Rural, Kalawa, Kathonzweni, as well as Konza Technopolis. There is also irrigation element where transformation of over 40,000 hectares of farmland will unlock stable agricultural production in the region historically dependent on rain-fed farming. There is also energy where a planned 20 megawatt hydropower plant, which will be in phase 2, will stabilize power supply for domestic and industrial use. There is also element of flood control where regulation of Athi River to reduce flood risk downstream. Economic growth where new jobs, improved health indicators, and strong local economics across Makueni, Kitui, and Machakos County is expected. In many respects, Thwake remains the backbone of the future water, food, power strategy for Lower Eastern. What are the outstanding risks? As dam phase 1 nears completion, 3 issues require urgent proactive management. 1, there is water quality. Even with improved sanitation upstream, the Nairobi River catchment remains vulnerable to illegal discharge and multiple municipal waste. Without sustained enforcement, Thwake treatment plant will face high chemical and operation cost. There's also funding for phase 2, 3, and 4. Phase 1 is a dam without water supply lines, without treatment works, without hydropower, and without irrigation. Unless the remaining phases are financed and executed, the Auditor General warned repeatedly that funding of these phases has not been conclusively secured, and this is the single biggest threat to realizing the project benefits. There's also the institutional readiness where the mega dam requires specialized operations agency with the technical skills in dam safety, hydropower, hydraulic engineering, and as well as environmental compliance. The proposed dam management operations agency must be established early enough to prevent operational gaps. In conclusion, we can say that the Thwake Multipurpose Water Development Program is of significance, national significance. It's a vast, complex engineering enterprise that has tested Kenya's institutional capacity, financial resilience, as well as environmental management system. On the ground, the physical dam structure is now in its final stage. Critical components such as diversion, tunnels, embankment, fillings, spillway, foundations are complete or nearing completion. Communities have been largely compensated. And African Development Bank, which is partially funding this project together with the government of Kenya, remains supportive. But the real measure of success will not be the height of the dam wall. It will be clean water, clean and safe water, which should be flowing through household taps, farms, turning green through irrigation, and also electricity being generated reliably. For that to happen, Kenya must confront directly and decisively the issues of financing the remaining phases, such sustaining an upstream river rehabilitation, and also building a competent operational entity. This dam or this project or this program stands at a defining moment, a near finished structure that can either become the engine of regional transformation or an incomplete promise waiting for the next phase of commitment. Thank you for reaching this far. If this is your first time here, please consider subscribing to this channel. Also hit the notification bell so that whenever you upload a new video, you're notified. You can also leave a comment about this completion rate of this important dam in lower eastern region of Kenya. Thank you.